Well, hello, grandchildren. It is Sunday afternoon. It is March 6th, 2022, and here's our weekly Bible verse for today. It's Colossians 3:16, and it says this: Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. That's a long verse. I tried to figure out a way to cut that in half, but I just couldn't. So we'll do the whole verse today for this week, and I hope you add it to your weekly Bible verses. So let's go and study it out a little bit. All right. Let the word of Christ dwell. That word is the Bible. Now, if your parents said to you, let the dog out, who's doing the work, the dog or you? Well, you're doing the work. You're letting the dog out. So when it says, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, you're doing the work. You're going into the word and you're studying it and you're learning about Christ. And the only way to learn about Christ, the only way to understand the Bible is have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. And then God will open up your understanding and will allow you that his word to dwell in you richly. That dwell means living in you richly. And my encouragement to you today, because we know the most important part of the Bible is the gospel, the good news of the gospel, the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's the gospel, as we've talked about many times. Let that gospel dwell in you so richly that when you hear any other gospel other than the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, you know it's not enough of the gospel, or it's not the right gospel, right? You let the word dwell in you richly. You read the Bible, you study the New Testament, and you read the Old Testament. But what we're applying today is the New Testament, the writings of the Apostle Paul. So let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs. As Christians, as believers in Christ, as we go through life together, we're helping each other grow and learn. And sometimes that means we have to scold one another. Or admonish. That admonish means scolding. With criticism, with kindness. Anytime we're working with people, we have a kindly attitude, even when we have to tell them what they're doing wrong. It's still in a spirit of love and kindness. The psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, the psalms are in the book of Bible. There's 150 psalms in the Bible. And then the hymns and the spiritual songs have a message of the Bible through music that we can learn about Christ through the hymns and through psalms and through spiritual songs. And we take those songs and we sing with grace in our hearts. In anything we do, whether we're playing checkers or whether we're reading a book or whether we're studying for a test or whether we're talking with someone, it should all be for the glory of Christ. Everything we do is for the glory of Christ. So, back here real quickly. Colossians 3:16, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to whom? To the Lord. Love you guys.